My name is Mike, and welcome to Alignment Unknown. This is going to be a short video, kind of a consequence of having a limited window that I can record in, as well as having to, work for a living, but I wanted to get my thoughts on this out there. So let's talk about it. On June 17th, Wizards of the Coast released a blog post that went over a lot of things about diversity in D&D, and I'll have a link in the comment section if you want to give it a read for yourself. But one of them was doing away with the idea that an entire race is evil. Specifically, they said, quote, "Throughout the 50-year history of D&D, some of the peoples in the game, orcs and drow being two of the prime examples, have been characterized as monstrous and evil, using descriptions that are painfully reminiscent of how real-world ethnic groups have been and continue to be denigrated. That's just not right, and it's not something we believe in. Despite our conscious efforts to the contrary, we have allowed some of those old descriptions to reappear in the game. We recognize that to live our values, we have to do an even better job in handling these issues. If we make mistakes, our priority is to make things right." End quote. And they plan on accomplishing that by, quote, "portraying all the peoples of D&D in relatable ways, and making it clear that they are as free as humans to decide who they are and what they do." End quote. They also plan on changing the ability score increases to allow for more flexibility when it comes to choosing a race. PC Gamer reported on the blog post, and sadly, but predictably, some gamers were upset. There were complaints that this would mean D&D would not include conflict anymore, among a bunch of other obnoxious, untrue nonsense. I guess they missed the fact that DMs have been ignoring the idea that a race has to be evil, likely since it was made available for public consumption in the 1970s. It's a fantasy game. It's your game. The rules are there as a guideline, but you can hack the game in any way you see fit. For example, in my 5e hardcore campaign, we have a bugbear, Dampier, Darkghoul, Ghoul, and Tabaxi as player characters. We didn't need some elaborate rule for why a ghoul might not be evil either. In Pathfinder 2e, there's a Pathfinder Society adventure named The Flooded King's Court, and the PCs have a chance to rescue a ghoul wrongfully imprisoned beneath the city. In my homebrew campaign, the PCs rescued 2 goblin guards and stopped them from invading a city over a misunderstanding. The goblins weren't evil, and they had a complex motive for acting the way they did. My point being that this is a good change. It will mean more player options, and players will be less likely to feel railroaded into playing a specific race because they offer the ability modifiers they feel they need to optimize their character. It will mean GMs are more likely to craft monsters with reasons for acting the way they do, instead of just relying on lazy storytelling and assuming they're evil for no other reason than they belong to a certain race. And why can't you have a beholder that's good? Since when did subverting expectations become a bad thing when it comes to storytelling? It also doesn't mean you can't have an evil beholder either. It just means you might have to figure out what their motives are, and why they're doing things in your game world that are considered evil, which, again, makes for a better story anyway. Personally, I think Wizards of the Coast is doing a good thing here. They're modernizing their game system and opening it up to more people who want to play D&D. This is a positive development, and what I hope continues. So, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you found value here, please consider subscribing and hitting the thumbs up button. It helps my new channel immensely with the YouTube algorithm. And of course, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.